Oh. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Goblin Ringleader podcast. And today we're going to be playing some standard, but we're also going to be talking about 2025 in retrospect, all the sets, the tier lists, all that coming soon. But before we get started, if you enjoy Goblins content, if you enjoy listening to me ramble, hit like and subscribe. Easiest way to support the channel, and it's free. If you want to do more, support the channel, $1 a month gets numbered out on every stream, and it means the world to me. All right, let's jump into some not only standard games, but also I want to talk a little bit about last year. It's crazy. It's already January. We're in 2026 now. It doesn't feel real. However, I do think that one of the big things for us to talk about on this channel, let me share this screen real quick, is, what were the last sets like? And I think that overall, this is how I break it down. It's a little bit blurry, but from the top, I would say that the only set that was really careless and sloppy was Spider-Man, and we know that's because they didn't have a lot of time to put the set together. It was initially going to be a secret layer, so it didn't come out as well as it could have. So I think that ultimately, if they had a little bit more time to put things together, they wouldn't have done it the way that they did it. And the fact that they pulled the trigger on it and they caused the set to go the way that it did and to be promoted the way that it did really shows, they kind of were a little bit careless and very sloppy. You can only do so much with a Magic set in a limited amount of time, and I understand that. But I feel like they definitely could have done a little bit better with Spider-Man. Innistrad Remastered is a set that I would put in the distracted and unfocused category, strictly because Innistrad was a collection of all three times that we went to Innistrad, and it was just a bunch of cards. It was a Masters set, right? So they're usually pretty chaotic and all over the place, but this one especially kind of felt like they really didn't have any goal with the set. There was no theme. It was really just like the theme was it was on Innistrad, but they didn't have any it looked like they were trying to do it strictly for reprint value, but the issue was that they really didn't have, let me see if I can show you, they really didn't have a great amount of value in the set, especially once you reprinted cards that were only expensive in the first place because of the fact that they came from a very short print run a long time ago. So original Avacyn Restored cards were expensive because they were from original Avacyn Restored, and they hadn't been reprinted. So these are Masters sets. Then we're going to come down here. Oh, Ravnica Remastered, Duskborn, Brothers War, Lorwyn Eclipsed, Streets of Capenna, Modern Horizons 2. It's in here somewhere, I believe. These are all Commander sets. Dominaria Remastered, Ravnica Remastered, Battlebond Dominaria Ultimate Masters. Very interesting. I don't know why I can't find Innistrad Remastered. Let's go in time order. It should be right here. Anyways, I personally was not a big I love Innistrad, and I was not a big fan of the Crimson Vow set. It seems to me like an example of, them just throwing a bunch of expensive cards in a box and saying, oh, this will sell. Like Edgar Markov was the chase card out of the set, and that's only because it was exclusively printed in a pre-con and never again. So it definitely didn't feel like the Masters sets of old that have there's cohesion, or there's they have stylistic points. This was just like, we're Innistrad, you're buying it. Like, this kind of felt like they needed a reason to justify a fourth trip to Innistrad, but they couldn't find a flavor reason to. So instead, they're like, oh, you know what we'll do? We'll just throw all the cards from the previous sets in one set. And yeah, it's not going to be standard legal, but they'll buy it. Then I think that Aether Drift had some really good ideas in it. Like if we go to the set itself, excuse me, we had some really cool cards, and there was a lot of opportunity for awesome things to happen here. We had a really big artifact theme. You had a birthing ritual or birthing pod in an artifact form in Retrofitter Foundry. Let me see if I can show you that. Oh, sorry, Repurposing Bay. Of course, it's not as strong as pod. However, like anything that allows you to search through your deck for one greater CMC than the thing you sacrificed is going to be strong, especially in an artifact set, especially in older formats where you can have so many different cards to grab. But what was really surprising about Aether Drift was they had some really cool ideas and really stylistic designs, but ultimately it came down to the uncommons. We started to see a trend in Aether Drift, which is the beginning of the year, of mythic uncommons, right? So like we had Stock Up, we had Marauding Mako, and these were examples of cards that were just so much higher above their usual like rate. This usually was like a 1-mana 1/2 that gets a buff whenever you discard cards. Being able to just permanently put counters on this 1-drop is insane. Mako was really big in the VV deck, which we're going to talk about later. And this card just overperformed. The fact that it had cycling is just like icing on the cake. Stock Up needs no introduction. This card is played all the way back in Legacy and Vintage. It's so powerful. So really looking at this set, Aether Drift had a lot of really cool ideas, just didn't really execute very well. There were so many like awesome things that they could have done, and they tried. Like Bloodghast came back. Bloodghast isn't even good enough anymore. Like it's really interesting to see a set with so many like quote unquote powerful cards just not being played because of how strong the draft mechanics are. That's the other thing I wanted to point out. In Duskmourn, which was the previous year, we had a system of a series of draft format archetypes that came into standard and dominated. We had we had self bounce, we had the discard deck. There's just a lot of like archetypes that start off as just draft archetypes and then are now becoming actual decks because the synergies they're making for the limited formats nowadays are just so strong that they actually can be ported into constructed formats and have success. So I think that Aether Drift was a pretty good idea. They tried. It could have been great, but they just missed the mark, and a lot of people didn't like the aesthetic of card games on motorcycles, which is fair. Then we go from Aether Drift to Tarkir, which I think was one of the greatest sets of the year. You know, Universes Beyond was awesome. I went into it not enjoying Universes Beyond. I didn't think it was going to work. I thought it took away from Magic. I think they did a really good job of trying to make the Universes Beyond sets true to Magic, with the exception of Spider-Man. But Tarkir was one of my favorite planes of all time. Just dragons. Like, you don't need to explain too much. Dragons and goblins. Awesome for me. I really enjoy it. And I think that there was like a couple of really good playable cards out of this set. Of course, there was a lot of big flashy stuff for Commander, but like Elstorm Slayer played in Control. Meringue River Regent was important in the Omniscience combo deck. There's a lot of like, we have a couple good goblins in this set. There's a lot of really good enabler cards that I think are going to be really important like going forward. Like for example, we have cards in this set that really show the power of Standard right now, right? We have Craterhoof Behemoth being printed into Standard. We have board wipe on a 4-drop dragon. But like the cards that I'm really excited about, of course, Clarion Conquerors seeing play all the way back into Legacy. Naga Fleshcrafter, right? Being able to exile it from your graveyard, put a counter on a creature you control, and then all your other creatures become copies of that creature. That's busted. It's really good. We've already seen Bruise at the Sibsig ceremony, wherever a creature enters, if you cast it, you have to destroy it. Then you make a 2/2 zombie, and it gives your creatures a discount of 2 generic. Tursa was played in the mono red discard deck. Again, if you go turn 1 Marauding Mako into turn 2 Fear of Missing Out, you put a counter on your Mako that's an attack for 2. Then the next turn you go Tursa, discard 2 cards. Then you put 2 more counters in the Mako. It's a 4/4, and you have a 2/3, and you have a 3/3 haste. Like, the game just gets out of control really fast. I think that Sharkin, once we get more and more dragons, is going to keep getting better. Voice of Victory is very good. Battlefront, and again, really good. A card that went under the radar a lot was Winter Night Stories. Draw 3 mana, draw 3, discard 2 unless you discard a creature, and you can harmonize it for 5. Like this card was I thought really strong, and then they started playing it in the VV decks. Again, the discard decks. Like if you have a Mako and you go turn 3 Winter Night Stories, you put 2 counters on your Mako, then it's 3 power. You can tap it and flash this back. Harmonize this back only for 2 mana, and you put 2 more counters on your Mako. It just gets so big so fast. So there's a lot of like really good enabler enabler style cards in this set that I think a lot of people are probably like, oh, the format's just so fast that it's not actually good enough. I think one thing that's really undervalued is the power of these sieges. I think that there's a lot of really weak sieges, but the Frostcliff siege just is insane. I've been playing Is It Goblins recently, and being able to get a buff and trample, it's too many keywords. Should have been one less of those things. But as is, 3 mana, it's really busted. So I would say that Tarkir is amazing. I think they did a great job with the design, and they didn't overpower anything. That being said, the next set is Final Prowess deck was huge. Yes, that's right. I forgot one thing from Tarkir because it was banned pretty quickly. Corey Steelcutter, absolutely busted. This was the breakout card from Tarkir. The Prowess deck was really good. The mono red deck was really good, and both of those decks just slotted Corey Steelcutter in, and you immediately got more bodies whenever you cast spells, and it just gave you so much value and trample and haste. The ands on this card just made it ridiculous. So this card was banned very quickly. The rest of this set is strong, but this card was too strong. And I forgot about it because it got banned so fast. But it was played in the VV deck, and the VV deck was actually insane because you would wait until turn 4 to play your VV. You would go, here's my VV. I'm going to pump it for 3. When I cast the pump spell, I'm going to ping you, make a count or put a counter on the VV. Then the pump spell resolves, and you get to buff the VV for 3 extra power. So it's got 4 power now. Then you use its 0 ability to make 4 mana. Then you cast more spells. You shoot your opponent more times. If you have an Agatha's Soul Cauldron, you can put the VV under the Agathas and make all your creatures with counters. Like we were talking about, the Mako, FOMO, Terso start. If you add Props Idyllic Memory, which is another card that got banned, then you can really see some crazy stuff coming out of that Izzet deck. And so we had to ban so many cards out of the Izzet deck. Screaming Nemesis was played in the sideboard. That had to get banned. Props Idyllic Memory was played in the main. That got banned. VV got banned. Corey Steelcutter got banned. And the deck's still the best deck in the format right now. So this was like kind of like the first set where we had besides Corey Steelcutter, we had came out and immediately took over the set. The rest of this set is so cool. We have a lot of playables. Cecil sees a lot of play. Esper Origin seems a lot of play. Arden is amazing in the Reanimator deck. But the rest of this set is pretty like decently powered. It was just that VV was way too strong. And it was a great, honestly, it doesn't take away from the fact that Final Fantasy was a great set. I liked it a lot. It was a really, really fun set draft. And it was honestly fun to brew with. But certain cards are going to be too powerful. And as long as Wizards takes a proactive look at bans, which that'll be something we talk about later, we really don't have to worry too much about the cards being too powerful because we know they're not temporary. All right, the next set after Final Fantasy was Edge of Eternities, which this set had a lot of really cool cards in it, and they immediately started to impact Standard. So Quantum Riddler right off the bat was one of the most like hyped cards coming into this set. Because we had the ability to, in Modern, play it with Ephemery. You can play it with Frog and discard your entire hand in response to the ETB so that you draw 2 immediately. If you stack up the Riddlers, if you have 2 or 3 of them in play and a Frog, you can discard your hand, go to your draw step, draw 4, go to combat, attack with the Frog, jump the Frog. When the Frog hits, then you can discard your cards down to 1, draw 4 more. Like, it's just multiple Riddlers is insane. And not only is it a decent body by itself, but it's a card that just allows you to recover from being behind so incredibly well. Another card that was really busted out of Edge of Eternities was Ouroboros. This is a 4-mana 1/3. When being a combat on your turn, you put X1 counters on each creature you control, where X is its power. Being able to grow your board permanently equal to its power every single turn is inevitability, like incarnate. I've seen decks have a bunch of 1/1s, and then you play the Ouroboros, they become 2/2s. This also gets a counter from the buff. So then you go to your next combat, they go from being 2/2s to 4/4s, and then the game snowballs very quickly. You can use pump spells in order to like get there faster. You like give the Ouroboros +2/+0 or +3/+0, put 4 counters on all your dudes, but usually slow and steady is totally fine. You just play this on turn 4. If it survives to your combat, the game's pretty much over. Cosmic Grand Zenith is another card that we saw played a little bit, not a lot. Pinnacle Star Cage is played a lot in the control decks. Overall, this set had a pretty big impact on Standard. Nova Hellcat into mono red. Consult the Star Charts was absolutely insane in the blue decks. I would say this card is arguably better than Stock Up because you can hold up counter magic in your control deck, and a lot of times you're playing these cards in really grindy control decks. So overall, Edge of Eternities was amazing. It was a return to form. It felt insane. The pre-release of Edge of Eternities was marred because we started getting Marvel spoilers for Spider-Man. And I'll be honest, Multiversal Passage, the land, is the most played card out of this set. There's really not that much that gets played in Standard besides Multiversal Passage. Like I'm looking at these, you go to the uncommons, like Secret Identity in the sideboard of some decks. But honestly, for the amount that they hyped up this set, I'm really not seeing it being played at all. The discard theme isn't really that great. If anything, Moreland in or Historic is one of the biggest impacts on Eternal formats. They were hyping up this set like crazy, and I really didn't see anything. This is obviously a Commander set because of the fact that there's so many big, expensive, flashy spells, and they're just not good enough for Standard, especially the Standard that we have nowadays. So it's crazy that right after Edge of Eternities, a well-thought-out, executed set, they go to trying to hype up a set that was not even really meant to be a set. They didn't put a lot of effort into it. If they did put a lot of effort into it, it doesn't show because it's hard to look at this and say, yes, this is a well-thought-out Magic set. The cards, the limited environment was horrible. It's the exact opposite of Final Fantasy. The limited environment was horrible. The cards are hardly playable in any format besides Commander. The best card of the set is a land that doesn't even tap for 2 colors. It only taps for 1. Like, it's insane. So I definitely was not a fan of Spider-Man. And then after Spider-Man, right, we had arguably the best set of the year. Avatar was phenomenal. It gave us Behedra Cub. It gave us Wan Shi Tong in Legacy and Eternal formats. It gave us a Appa Aang Infinite combo deck. The Earthbender mechanic was amazing. I would say this set specifically had a better limited environment than Final Fantasy, and Final Fantasy is considered one of the greatest limited environments of all time. A lot of very playable cards, a lot of cards that are seeing play in Standard. It's really interesting. There's a 1-mana 3/3 with Vigilance. Beginning of your upkeep, tap this creature. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, untap this creature. So it's so easy to cantrip Standard right now. We have like a billion ways to just draw multiple cards in a turn. So the fact that we have a 1-mana Delver, a pre-flipped Delver that also has Vigilance, absolutely insane. The Allies deck came out of this set, specifically from this set, and I think that the Allies deck might have legs, like, I don't want to say forever, but it seems very strong. Wartime Protesters allows all your allies to enter with a counter and gain haste. There's Aang at the Crossroads. Let me see if I can scroll down. There's a lot of really cool cards that came out of this set, and a lot of them are, which is what you want from a Universes Beyond set. You want cards to be playable in Standard and beyond. We have Aang at the Crossroads, which saw play at Worlds. Aang Swift Savior goes infinite with the Appa, the Mythic Appa. Azula are played. Sokka is encouraging you to play Spell Slingers. Like, there's just so many good, powerful cards in this set. And I think that this is what Universes Beyond should look like. This and Final Fantasy are examples of what happens when you do it right. And Spider-Man is an example of what happens when you do it wrong and you don't put enough love and effort into it. So I would say this is how I would rate the sets. If you disagree, let me know in the comments down below. A little bit of longer take than I wanted to, but I wanted to go over this and just say, hey, you know what? This is what happened in 2025, and this is my opinion on how it goes. It's crazy it broke down like this, but that's just how it goes. This is the lineup for next year. All right, I'm joking. This is what the next year's lineup could have been if they would have not done Universes Beyond stuff. Look how cool this looks. Lorwyn Eclipsed, Battlebond 2, Secrets of Strixhaven, Kaldheim War of the Gods, Alara, Reality Fracture, and Muraganda. We've never been to Muraganda. It was a set that was introduced in Aetherdrift. Instead, it looks like this. We have Lorwyn Eclipsed, an unannounced Universes Beyond set, Secrets of Strixhaven, Marvel Superheroes again, The Hobbit, Reality Fracture, and Star Trek. Now, which one of those made you more excited? I personally would have been more excited for this, but I understand that people are super excited for The Hobbit. Marvel has a lot of huge fans. Star Trek is great. Like, to the people who love Star Trek, I can understand it. It's their Star Wars. I respect it. No hard feelings. But this lineup definitely feels lacking, and it also doesn't have any. This is kind of something that I wanted to talk about because there's 7 sets. We have a shorter spoiler season than ever before, and my question to y'all is, why would they decrease the time that we have to look forward to a set? Why would they take away moments for us to increase our desire for these cards and instead give us spoilers for sets that are months in advance? Like, a great example of this is what happened when they were releasing Edge of Eternities. It was being pre-released that weekend, and that same weekend they released the Marvel Spider-Man spoilers. Like, how they're cannibalizing their own hype for the product that they're releasing. And I feel like a marketing 101 is you don't take away from the thing you're trying to promote. If they wanted to spoil the Marvel Spider-Man spoilers, do it the weekend after everybody pre-releases your most recent set. Otherwise, people are going to walk away. I think that the biggest thing that we have as Magic players is a desire to brew, a desire to build, and we're trying to find new things to do, right? We're trying to figure out what's going to work the best, and why should we look forward to these new sets if we know that while we're looking forward to the new sets, they're going to show us a newer set, and they're going to keep distracting us from what we're trying to be excited for. We're all trying to be excited for Lorwyn. They're already giving us Marvel spoilers. Why? Look at this. Marvel is 4 sets away. We haven't even gotten to Lorwyn yet. They're cannibalizing our desire to play Lorwyn. So, and they've also announced that they're going to be shortening the spoiler season down to 5 days. One work week is how much time we have to experience and appreciate the new set. They're going to be spoiled in a week, and then we're going to have 1 week to look at the cards before we pre-release. That's not enough time to get excited about something. That's not enough time to justify a purchase. So I don't understand why it's like they're trying to decrease our enthusiasm, because not only are they giving us less time to look forward to something coming out, at the same time, they're also giving us more sets than ever so that we can't possibly be as focused on the set that we want because our enthusiasm is watered down. I really don't understand why they're prioritizing Universe Beyond over in-universe sets. By saying, hey, we have this Marvel set coming out in 4 sets, and not saying, hey, let's focus on Lorwyn for right now, what they're showing us is that they actually prioritize Universes Beyond over actual in-universe sets, which we know they do that. But how is that helpful? How is that helpful to us as a game? If they're looking at the entire player base and they're saying, okay, we want to appeal to the new players because there's some people outside of Magic who haven't been pulled in yet, the least that they can do is treat the people that they're bringing into the game equally with the people who are already in and invested in the game. So by showing us that Universes Beyond is going to be spoiled 4 sets ahead of an actual in-universe set, they're showing us that really they prioritize the new players over us who are established lifelong players in this game, which is fine from like a monetary perspective. The people who are coming into the game might spend more money. All of us who have been playing the game for a while, we're probably a little bit more wise into those tricks, and we don't buy as much sealed product, and maybe we splurge every once in a while, but we buy singles, which doesn't really help Wizards that much. So it ultimately shows that Hasbro is looking for money, and we know that they're looking for money, but it hurts when it's blatantly this obvious. Money moves minds is the thing that I've been thinking about recently, is when you have people at Wizards who are trying to create and build and make new sets that are encouraging and encouraging for us to play more Magic and exciting us to play more Magic, I think that when they see a Edge of Eternities and then they see a Final Fantasy and one does so much more than the other in sales and revenue, I think they're naturally inclined to start pushing something like the Marvel set earlier to try to get more heads interested and minds thinking about the set. But what that also does is that shows us that if universes beyond, if that shows us that universes beyond is the priority, it's up to us who love the universe within sets to say, okay, we have to make sure that we buy Lorwyn. We have to make sure that we show that we care about Lorwyn. There's things that are not permanent. We've seen this. The in-universe sets we thought were going to be eternal, and they're actually decreasing now. We've gone from one Universe Beyond set a year, and it's not even in standard, to 3 in standard in 1 year. And so this is 4. This is 4 next year. We actually have less in-universe sets than Universe Beyond sets. And if we don't want this trend to continue, we have to open our eyes, we have to open our mouths, and we have to communicate with each other and say, hey, let's make sure that these Universe Beyond sets are not outpacing the universes within sets, or at least we have to make sure that they have decent results, because then Wizards can say, oh, these universes within sets that take probably more money to make, more money to design, they actually are beneficial to our bottom line. And that's the only argument they're going to have that's going to work with Hasbro. In conclusion, it's up to us to show how we feel with our wallets. And while we do vote with our dollars, if we don't talk about how we feel, things can't change. Hasbro does things because of how we react. We must be critical of the game we love. No woos for every set. They have no quality control. So it's up to us now to look at them and say, hey, we see what you're doing, and we want our game to stay. Before I go, there's a couple other things I wanted to mention. How do we stay happy when enjoyment comes from contentment? When we're happy about the game that we're playing, it's because we've seen the cards, we've built the decks, we've realized that this is something that we want to try to achieve. You either have a crazy build or you want to find success in the game and win some games and get that dopamine rush. When Wizards has more sets than ever and a shorter amount of hype for those sets, it's really hard for us to be content because we're always looking towards the new thing. We're always trying to think, what's the next thing that I can do? What can I do to improve? What's the thing that I can do to try to give value? And in reality, we shouldn't have to try to figure out how to give value. We should try really hard to just say, you know what? I love playing Magic, and I am going to do it whether Wizards is messing up or not. And it's just a really big challenge to all of us to try to stay content in the midst of these struggles, because ultimately, I think that that's what Magic is trying to struggle through the hard times to get to the good times. I think that, contentment is really, really hard to find in general, and especially when Wizards is trying to take away something that's important to us, which is our love for the game. It feels like they're trying to drown us in cards, and if they don't succeed, then we'll stay. But if they succeed, then we all just give up and walk away, and that's ultimately what we want. So I'm done rambling. We're gonna play some Magic. I'm excited. Opponent went a Seasoned Worn Guard on one. Let's get the Seer Slicer down. We can start making bodies, and then we can get the Painter Studio and Deface Gallery online. Deal a bunch of damage. No blocks. The Mono White Rabbit deck, eh? So I can get in there with the red zone with this token. It's gonna die, but then I get the token back at the end step with the Seer Slicer, and then I'm blocker. No play. So we can go. It's a 1-2. Let's go this. Deface Gallery first. Go to combat. Everything besides the Seer Slicer. Blocks are good. I'm gonna do Burst Lightning on the Quest Caller. Then they trade. They take 3. I go up in speed. I get the guy back. Four mana. See what they do. Warren, War Leader. So that's, I guess, a reason to use the burst light, or save the burst light and use the strike. But what we can do, I can play the stadium headliner, sack the stadium headliner, then still have the lightning strike up. Go to combat. Everything can attack. Attack trigger, make the dude. I'll sack to shoot the war leader. Damage is good. And the strike can just go face next turn. All right. Good way to start. Oh, I don't like playing best of one. It doesn't feel like I get to practice probably the hardest part about Magic, which is sideboarding. However, sometimes it's fun to just jam games, make sure that your main deck is good. I enjoy playing these leagues, or events. They're technically not leagues, because it lets me see just a bunch of different decks, which I find that when I'm playing on mtga, especially, it's a lot of the same decks over and over again. And that's not the most entertaining thing to watch for you or for me. This hand's great. I can go Vantage, Verge if I need to shock the Foundry. Hey, Appa, I have some cabbage for you. Okay, this is the Ouroboros deck. Hit them for 2. They definitely have a Badger Mole. Paw Patch, okay. Double Paw Patch, okay. Helix. I guess I could just go Howl Squad, Combat, attack for 3. They can trade if they want. Next turn I can go Sacred Foundry, Helix, plus Headliner. They're trying to figure out how fast they can, race. And if they can, okay, they think they can race. Which is fair. They might be able to. We'll see. Oh. See the end of the day. Try to figure out if I'm really okay. Oh, she's not talking. Could be. Cause I ran into a stream. Combat. Just do everything. Wait until the last possible moment. Okay, they don't do anything. That's fine. They're at 9. I mean, I think I just pass. I can do all this at instant speed, so I don't think I really need to worry. If I go Helix, I think I can go sack the stadium headliner, target on the stack, target. Then I Helix. So that dies, then that dies, then they get the Ouroboros with a counter. Then I go to mine and I get to go War Leader's Call, land, combat. They go to 8. I attack with everything. They're at 1. Play a bunch of blockers. Okay, put a counter. Strike off the top. Actually, no. Go to combat. Good game, opponent. Well played. Okay, that felt pretty strong. Ouroboros is probably one of our tougher matchups. If they were on the play, I think they definitely get there. As crazy as that is to say. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm going to run to the bathroom and I'm going to be right back. And we're going to keep going. Oh. So far, we don't have any losses in this run. And we're back. Let's keep going. Games have felt really good so far. This is a hand that loses to Iroh's demonstration pretty hard. Or temporary lockdown. Starcage. Depends what blue-white deck they're playing. No more lives is fine. Probably have Day of Judgment. Consult. Maybe it's just a Beza. We go to combat. Everything. That's it. Wow. Okay. Opponent played one consult and did not have a board wipe. I mean, I guess that's control. You make them have it. Really interesting. Let's go do it again. And then we do it again. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I think that game one was pretty favored. The issue with this deck is when we get to games 2 and 3, it usually gets really bad for us. But I mean, we have the speed. We can definitely take games. The Izzet version of this deck is much more resilient, but a little bit more slow. This version is definitely all in, just having burn spells to go to your opponent's face, pressuring them a lot early. Sometimes that's all you can do is just get bodies on the board and turn them sideways. Yeah. Opponent could be playing the Allies deck. 1 to 6. Shockin', Bastronaut. Start the engines. Storm Chaser's talent, sure. Play a Verge, combat, attack. Second main, play a Seer Slicer. End step, make a deed. Next turn's going to be huge. If we top deck a land, we're pretty safe from Iroh's demonstration. But if they have it, they have it. I mean, I would love it if they attack. Not quite what we wanted. But we can just go combat everything. The fact that they attacked shows me they probably have an Iroh's demonstration, so I don't want to play this headliner. I can just take the otter off the field now. What's a 3-drop they could play? I probably want to kill a Grand if it comes down. I mean, I'm pretty ahead on the board as is. Force them to have the Iroh's demonstration. That's not an Iroh's demonstration. I'll burst lightning the creature. Yeah, there's the Grand. Oh, but there's the land. Interesting. We can just get War Leader's Call down. Not really care about anything now. Because now the Iroh's demonstration doesn't do enough. And I have lethal. Now they need to have double Iroh's demonstration. Boomerang, not the War Leader's Call, and Combustion Technique. But this has Menace. Double Strike. Opponent. All right, they are hoping. Sure. Make the block. Good game. Okay. Opponent. That was the best deck in the format. They were playing Is It Lessons, which is really good. Now, albeit they didn't have an Iroh's demonstration on turn 2 or 3. I think it was turn 4 we drew the land we needed, so. Excuse me. The decks felt very strong. It's really close. I'll try it. Plays the Cecil. Play a Stadium Headliner. Opponent, I think you might be in danger. Tapped Headliner. Kaido. Okay. Sure, preacher's fine. Cecil does have lifelink. If I play Howl Squad, I get to attack for 4 because they block 1. If I play War Leader's Call, and they flip the Cecil, and they make a lifelink token, untap Cecil and transform it. Combat. Let's attack. Might have been the worst option. I don't know. I mean, if we just slam the War Leader's Call, they take 6/8 here. Then the lifelink doesn't really matter. Yes, this was a punt. Oh, I think this is decent, actually. No, probably not. I just don't want them getting the Cecil to flip. Curiosity, sure. Curiosity is a cat. Saved. Token for token, that means they gain a life. Stab works. I can take 6, go to 8. None of this is good. Another Cecil might actually help us. Kill the Curiosity and the Cecil. That leaves them with 7 attacking. War Leader's Call would make a token, make the Howl Squad have 3/4. This is the smart thing to do. Bad is rough. I guess if I would have played both, I can still do this in response. Spell Pierce in response. Another one. Double Spell Pierce. No, double Counterspell though. So yeah, that one turn where I didn't put the Warleader's Call in play, I said chose to go to combat with 2 Stadium Headliners. It was a punt. Because I was thinking I could play land, hold up Burn Spell, but instead, the 2 other cards that I had in my hand were it was War Leader's Call plus the Howl Squad. You know, I have to block. Doesn't really change anything. And that allowed them to regain some footing and swing the advantage back towards them. Yeah. If we would have just played to double War Leader's Call, no, because they had counter spells for those. Good game opponent, really well played. Drowner takes out the blocker. All right, so this is going to be our first loss. And that's fine. This is traditionally a pretty tough matchup. If they're able to get aggressive threats underneath us, that's pretty much how it goes. I do think that we had probably a pretty decent chance of punching through that game, but it's neither here nor there. Oh, we get 3 losses? I thought we only got 2. Okay. Deep breath. Reset. I believe in us. All right, sorry, I had to eat my apple. This is not going well. I think picking this up and replaying it, like, is ridiculously good. It's so incredibly good. And they get to draw cards off it. They get to do so many things. Like, it single-handedly forced me to use up 9 points of burn. They would be at 8 if I just targeted them. Yeah, that's pretty good. Excuse me. So I can target myself with Lightning Strike. And then I can also Boros Charm myself. Well played, opponent. Well played. Okay. Let's run it back. The final, we only have one more loss to give. And we just got to get 2 more wins. I believe in us. Time to take a deep breath, lock in. Those are 2 examples of decks that we're pretty bad against. What else? We don't have any graveyard hate in the main, so it's gonna be really tough if we run up against the Reanimator deck, the Living End deck, I should say. If we don't draw lands, this hand is horrible. All right, this is better. Not by much, but at least we have the colors that we need to cast our spells. Sure. I think that first hand was duress proof. No, because we have burn spells no matter what. But this is what we wanted. We wanted to be able to get the voice down. Oh, and this is the list that has lightning. That's so cool. So we know they can't cast spells because of voice. Voice is going to keep them from only casting their spells if they're on their turn. Man, if I can get this lightning down, I'm going to be so happy. Tragic trajectory. That works. Oh, hold up. I think I just get the Howl Squad down first. As much damage as fast as possible. Pitch the Burst Lightning. Go to combat. I think we just attack. They can only kill one thing. Means we get extra damage in. Get a lightning down. Okay, discard. Do make treasures. Or sorry, they're not treasures, they're clues. Combat attack. So now I get to do something cool. I get to deal 2 damage to the investigator. So then it tramples for 2. And then this deals 10. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. All right. Lightning knee. That was awesome. Like a little cameo from Lightning there. Totally forgot that was in the list. The spice coming through in the end. Okay. Yeah, that's a good example of what we didn't do the previous 2 games where we lost. We didn't tap out for our cards on curve as much as possible because we chose to cast our 2-drops on 3 and another 2-drop on 4. We weren't able to double spell on turn 4 and 5, which is usually how we are able to keep up with the other decks that just play bigger and bigger things. We got to play our Howl Squad on 3, our Seer Slicer on 2, and our Howl Squad on 3, and then double spell from there on out. Sam looks great. Okay. Vantage, Mountain, Verge. That is the right order. On away control. Question mark. Oh, it's the deck that does the thing. Let's just get a Voice of Victory down. This is the Sheltered by Ghost deck. Okay. A Sorcerer's Roll, which is whenever this creature gets this creature gets +1/+1 when it attacks or scry. Totally fair. Play this land. Probably just get a Seer Slicer down. Could just Helix the Vendor. No, I think I like just attacking with the Voice. It's a bunch of damage. Second main playing the Seer Slicer. Kind of just letting them have the Vendor. We have 3 removal spells if they start to play Sheltered by Ghosts. So now it has Ward 10 billion. So I need 6 mana to kill this thing. They're digging for another Shelter by Ghost for sure. Hey, what's up? Appreciate you dropping in. It's going good, you know? It's Saturday, we're chilling. It's a great day to just hang out. Woke up early, wanted to get a stream done. Me and my girl are going to go out to dinner tonight, so it's going to be a late night, and it's a great day. I'm super excited. And, you know, I don't even know, we're 6-2, I guess, right now in this standard best of 1. So Boros Goblins doing the thing. How's your day going? Oh, we got a lot of damage now. If I just go to Face Gallery, Lightning Helix the Vendor, combat attack, put them to 11. Veteran survivors, fine. If I flip a land, I can play another spell. Oh, Ethereal Armor is going to be a problem. I'm dead. Wait, what? No, I'm not dead. Okay. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. We're 1 mana away from being able to deal with this. If we were on the play, we would have been able to deal with this next turn for sure if I flip cards with this. Oh no, never mind. It has 11 toughness. I definitely can't burn it. Good game opponent, really well played. Boggles in standard, too good? Question mark. Trying to think of like what I could possibly do. I'll flip cards. Okay. Strike the survivor. Show them the power of mobilize. Put them back to the team, but then we die in the air. Good game. I think maybe I should have gotten the Voice of Victory down sooner, but yeah, opponent played this really well. Boggles in 2026. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Good game opponent. Well played. All right. We weren't able to quite get the 7 wins, but hey, 6-3 is pretty decent. I started with a win off the bat because I was playing this for fun, and when I got the first win, I was like, wait, maybe this is the 7-0 run. So I left it here. We started with 1 win, got to 6-3, but next time we're gonna get to just to 7-2 or even just 7-0. I'm very excited. Also, it doesn't really help with the ladder at all, but that's totally fine because that's a separate thing. Do you want to see me do a mythic, a brawl? What is it? A bronze to mythic run? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm going to jump off now. If you enjoy Goblins content, if you enjoy this video, hit like and subscribe. Easiest way to support the channel, and it's free. If you want to do more, support the channel, $1 a month gets your name read out on every stream. And we have the Patreon. If you want to be part of the Discord, you can go jump in the Patreon. The link is in the channel description. And if you want to support me, it really means the world to me. From the top, you have the Real 2CU and your account on the Green Goblin tier on the Patreon. And we have the Legend Adam at the Cranko Mob Boss tier. Then on the YouTube side, we got from the top, Alpha Ronin, Tim's Top Decks, Elias Sutter, the Darth Newt, ADD Y100K, Jared Munsterman, and Annan, Riberio, Cypher777, The High Wumpus, AJR, B. Ryan, Gorvisker, Sliver of Nope, Scott McIntosh, Javier Hugo, Valeroth, Yorminger, Terrieth, Needle Burrito, Trucker Philosophy, The Green Ranger, Stanton McCain, and Uncooked Burrito, Danny Alexandria, and the Sergeant Farmer. I'll get those memorized soon, I promise. But until next time, stream every single day, 10 o'clock p.m. CST. I'll see you next time. Peace.